My name is Krishna Chodapillai. I work as an enterprise coach, trainer, facilitator, working with various organizations globally. And the ironic part is, for the last 6 months, 8 months to be precise, I haven't traveled much, and I've been staying at in England. I live in a place called Hayes and Hollington. It's on the west of London, and it's been interesting because when you're working away from your teams, because I have teams in India, China, and a few other places, and also work with my clients, it is an interesting journey. It is an interesting journey. When you go through that interesting journey, remember, the world is going through a very, right now, the world is in a very volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environment. This term was used by the American military. It's called VUCA, volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environment. There's so many variables happening at the same time. When you are going through those challenges, it is in things can get louder at times. At the same times, when you don't know what you don't know, you can. What I do is look outside and see what things are working for teams. Sometimes I clone it, I copy and paste and see if it works for me. And sometimes I experiment. The most important thing is doing something about it. That's the most important thing. Do something about it. In this session, for the next 55 minutes, we'll be talking about how do you work with remote teams. But the most important thing is it's not about how awesome Krishna is, what I can present, what is it about the content I'm delivering, what is the one action you're going to take away from this session and experiment it with your teams. That's the only one question I have for you. Is that a big ask? In your chat window, you can type in yes or no. That's okay. That's the one expectations I have from you. Brilliant. So we're getting.
Krishna, sorry to interrupt. This is Meenakshi. I think my initials show up as MP. I'm on the phone, but I'm having challenge typing. All of a sudden, that aspect is frozen. So I apologize if you don't see me participating anymore.
Meenakshi, don't worry about it. The most important thing is if you can even drop a line to me offline and we can work that out. So on that note, let's kick off the session. And if you have any questions, we have a Q&A session in the last 10 minutes, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And I'll be honest, if I can't, I'll find somebody who can help you with that. Would that be okay? Good. A little bit introduction about the organization I work with. I work for a company called Leadership Tribe. Leadership Tribe had various incarnations. At one point, it was Agile Gurus, and we've been and global project consulting. The main goal of our organization is to work when we work with various organizations. We know how to use the tools, we know how to use the systems, we know how to use how what are the things we can do to help teams to deliver it. Most importantly, we also work with amazing leaders and coaches and consultants. I'm going to pick on a few names. There's a wonderful lady called Donna, and there's also a few other people I've worked with in the past. There are tons of knowledge. There's nothing wrong in asking them questions like, I don't know, what can you do? Can you help me about this? Most people who want to progress in their careers, the most people who want to deliver better than what they are doing, is they help, they mentor, they train, they facilitate. The moment you're spending and giving that knowledge back to the community, that's how they train, they deliver better. And I'm lucky enough to have some people in this room right now who I've seen personally who have done that. And that's what we're trying to do, bring that community together in such a way that we give you something back to drive value for your personal life. It can be for your organization, it can be for your teams. That's called the wisdom of the tribe or the wisdom of the crowd. So Krishna might be having 25 years of experience. So if we try to bring the experience of the wisdom in the room, that's, you're talking about 100, 200, or even 300 years of experience. How are we going to bring the knowledge, the wisdom of the tribe to help you learn and deliver that knowledge for you and to give back to the community? That's the primary objective of Leadership Tribe. So, as Leadership Tribe, we work with various organizations, and we also do some open trainings. We have some upcoming programs. This can be around how to be a facilitator, how to be a coach, and how to take that journey forward. And on top of that, I want you to remember this code called Effective 20. So take advantage of it and see how it can help you with your teams, or you can even give that code to your peers or your people who are looking to improve in their career. This around with Agile facilitation, coaching, and as an Agile coach, as well as these are the upcoming programs we have in November, December, and January. There are so many programs out there. And we also work with our partners who have programs around Scrum Master, Product Owner, Safe. There are so many programs out there. So if you are looking in that journey, there's feel free to give us a shout and see how you can take advantage of it. And the recent programs which we also started, when I say recent, in the last 3 months, 3 to 4 months, we also been looking at how to become an enterprise agile coach, how to coach agile teams, and how do you take that journey as well. So we have some programs coming up, but most importantly, what is it you want? It's all about you. So the next question I have for you in this session is I'm going to share some pictures, and in the chat window, you're going to type in what is the common thing they have among themselves. The common thing. There's no right or wrong answer here. This is a safe environment. So type in your chat window. We got some 4 pictures. What is the common theme they have for themselves? What is one common theme? Type it in the chat window, please. So we're getting some answers. We got selfless, strong leaders, social work, serve the people, servant leadership, selfless service. They stood for the passion. All fantastic people, leadership without a tag, contributed to change. Spotless answers, amazing answers. It's all about people. But most importantly, they have one thing. They stood up for something they believe. They took an action. They took an action from their personal level that helped things move into actions, that helped people around them, that helped millions of people in India. Nelson Mandela, who brought the diversity, the racial distinction, the person, Gandhi, who helped a country like India with bring in freedom with non-violence movement. It's all about them taking an action. If they haven't, they have, like us, like as human beings, there's so many things which are happening around you. Everywhere you see, there's so many things are happening. It's up to you. If a person, when you're walking in the street, somebody falls, and you can just walk away, or you can have a laugh. You can do that, or just go in and lift them up. Selfless act. It's all about them just doing something about it. That changes things. And working with remote teams, when you're working with remote teams, it's you. When you're working with remote things, you need to do things which will not only help you, your teams, or your organizations, but it starts from you. So this session, when you're talking about teams, organizations, everything around you, it's amazing. That's knowledge. We can all say, let's all sing Kumbaya, hold hands, and yeah, 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 it's all exciting. It's not about that. It's about you. This session is about you. So if you're working with remote teams or face-to-face or whatever, it's about you, what action you are going to take. And that's what I'm interested about. That's what I'm interested about. So this John Quincy Adams is one of the amazing persons which I read about. If your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. There are times, sometimes you play a role of a follower. There are sometimes you play a role of a leader. When things go pear-shaped, when things hit the roof, when shit hits the roof, there's always some person in the team to stand up and say, let's see what we can do to make it happen. That's what a leader. You do not need a title to call yourself, I'm a leader. All it takes is your actions. Your actions. That's what matters. So if it's agile, waterfall, donkey framework, you name whatever frameworks. Right now, today, we have so many frameworks out there. Last time I counted, there are 39. And still, some people are creating frameworks around it. When you're working with any environment, it's about you. What the hell are you going to do? So I know you all came down for some tips and tricks how you're going to work with remote teams. And Krishna is saying it's all about you. Krishna, what is it, man? So let's figure it out. This is a journey. So we still have another 40 minutes, 45 minutes to make that happen. So I'm still curious. So when you're working with your team, some of us play the role of a coach, leader, team member, what it is. So who can be a leader in your organization? In your teams, who can be a leader? Type it in. Who can be a leader? Any of us? Anyone? Okay. Any more answers? Who can be a leader in your organization? Who supports and mentors the team? Thank you very much. Somebody who is managing others. Okay. Someone who wants to be. We are all leaders. Let's explore. Let's explore. So when you're working in your team, as an individual, when we're working, you can be working at a team level, working, I call them as facilitators, scrum masters, and nothing but amazing facilitators. You got coaches or the tribe leaders, and you also have the enterprise coaches or the enterprise leaders. You working on different tiers in organization, three simple tiers. So in the chat window, can you type in, are you working at the team level or at the business unit or enterprise level? Type it in the chat window, please. Okay. So we got some people from the team level, business unit, team level, enterprise level. Okay, business unit. Okay, so we have a mix. Let's look at what are the common things we need to work in any tier you work. So when you're working at the facilitator level, so most important thing at the team level, you got the agile team facilitation. You need to have the facilitation skills where you're bringing the worlds where different, you got difference in opinions, you bring them towards a common goal, what you want to achieve as a team. As a team, you work together. As a coach, sometimes you work in a way, you help teams, you use powerful questions, listening, the different things you use, all the skills together to help people to come up with their own solutions. Coaching is not telling you what to do. Coaching is about helping people to come up with their own solutions. And sometimes you might even mentor. As a mentor, you give them, you're a subject matter expert. You've seen it, you've done it before. You give them options, and the individual or the teams in front of you, they use all the data and they pick a choice which matters to them. They work together. It's a journey, but for every journey you have to invest in yourself to uplift your skills. So, what are the common challenges you face when you're working with remote teams? Forget Agile, forget Waterfall, forget any acronyms on the planet. What are the common challenges? Remember, these are human beings. So, what are the common challenges you face when you're working with remote teams? Type it in the chat window, please. So we are looking at ineffective communication, team productivity, response, commitment, communication, missing the corridor. That's true. I do miss the corridor conversation. Okay, I can't beat that. That's a great one. Different types of personalities and attitude towards remote work, remote conversation. Good one. Managing expectations and communication to the team. There's a lot of communication which came that I find it as a common theme. Education, that's also true. Misinterpretation, personal communications. So these, when I've been working with various organizations globally, these are the common things which I've found. Communication. Some organizations, they want to measure employees. I want to make sure my employees are working from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. I, I want to make sure they're giving me every penny back what I'm paying them. Measure employees' work. That's what they want to do. They also have some challenges with trust. And with COVID, some of us are working from home. Most of us are working from home. The company culture, what we have, is changing, it's adapting. The vocabulary, the language, what they're using is also different. The scheduling difficulties. Now, we have people working from home. Sometimes you have to pick kids up. Kids are in the background. Even the schools, some of the schools are shut. We have to work from home. I have a sister in Maryland. The kids haven't gone to school, they missed the friends, and she has to work with her husband and herself and two amazing kids in the same house. And sometimes kids have needs. They need to be looked after. So there are some scheduling difficulties because sometimes when you try to put a meeting, we need to drop a kid off somewhere or take the kid out for a walk because you need to entertain them. Scheduling difficulties are coming into play. And the most important thing is the self-care, the morale of the team. As individuals, when you're working in a very strange environment, COVID is happening. Things are happening. Things are stressful. There's so much negativity on the news. When you open any BBC, you name a news channel, how much of it? I have a question for you. I want to do a quick test. In any news channel you see on your TV or paper, you name it, what is the percentage of the news is negative? Type it in the chat window. There's no right or wrong answers. I have my own views. Okay, someone says 90, 90, 95, 80, 80 to 90, 60 to 70. That's an interesting number, isn't it? That's a very interesting number. Let's do a small test. Someone even stopped watching TV. That's amazing. Okay, why does the news is so negative? Let's do a small test. Everyone in the room, I don't want you to do one thing. I don't want you to think about pink elephants. Do not think about pink elephants. What is the one thing you're thinking right now? Try it in the chat window. What is it you're not thinking of right now? I told you not to think about pink elephants. Blue elephants. Okay, pink elephants. The interesting part is this is how our brain works. Um, as human beings, we either fight flight, or freeze. These are the three things we do. And one thing that helped us to be who we are is all these years, from the time we've been born, even the grandparents, is the way we protect ourselves. And that's the reason we are where we are. Self-preservation. And we always looking out for things which will hurt us, hurt our family, the loved ones who we care about. That's the reality. And anything negative, we just want to be ready. We want to be ready and maneuver things on the last minute. That's what we do. And news, some news channels, even the politicians around the world, if you do not elect me, you're going through a very dark place. That's how they sell themselves. That is a fact. And that's the world we live in. And we are trying to bring these people together and work together. And I know some of my colleagues who I work with, um, they have a family member who's been infected with COVID. They're in the house, kids screaming and kicking off in the background, and not able, and at the same time working because they need to earn a livelihood. It's hard, and you need to work with them. What are the things you can do? We'll discover that. Okay, so what is your role? So we have agile coaches, you got leaders, and some of us, we work as a leader even we do not have a title. We do that. We do what helps us to become, we do whatever it takes to help as a mother, father, brother, sister, or a individual or a team member as well. We do what it takes. But what is your role in your team? Let's discover that. So when you're looking, this is, I borrowed this brilliance from Lisa Atkins. She has written an amazing book called Coaching Agile Teams. And as Lisa talks about, the most important thing to work with various teams is you have to be an agile lean practitioner, a person who understands what agile is. Agile is about the mindset. Agile does not say you have to practice safe, you have to practice scrum, you have to practice whatever on the planet. It talks about a mindset, treating people like human beings, and lean is about eliminating waste. And within that, you play multiple roles. A role can be when you got a new team member, you will be teaching them. Sometimes, when a team member is going through a challenge, because you've seen it, you observed it, and you've gone through the same experience, you might be mentoring them as well. As a mentor, if you have the technical experience, when you're working with a marketing team, when you're working with a legal team, you might be a subject matter expert. You will be giving that kind of a technical mastery. So how to do this kind of a compliance, governance, you name it, you might be a technical mastery. You might be giving that kind of a, subject, you might be giving that kind of expertise, hands-on expertise for them. And transformation mastery is about how to be a change analyst, catalyst in bringing that kind of a change. Business mastery is about looking beyond the curve and seeing what matters for the organization, how to make them successful. So in all those uh, expertise, you'll be facilitating, and sometimes you'll be doing coaching as well. It's like a dance. So I have a simple question for you. How many of you danced in your life with a partner or a child or a friend or a brother or a sister? When was the last time you, have you danced? Yes or no? Okay. Some of us have danced, some of us have known. No, that's okay. So the people who have not danced, that's okay. It's like this. When a person takes a move, you make a move. So someone puts a foot in front, you take a foot backwards. It's like dancing. You take one step forward, one step back, one step to the left, one step to the right. So when you're working with the teams, sometimes you play a role of a mentor. Sometimes you play a role of a facilitator. Sometimes you play a role of a coach. You'll be playing multiple hats. You will be dancing with your teams. That is called a stance. That's called a stance. So, as leaders, coaches, mentors, you need to play different roles. When you're working with different roles, these are some roles which will make you fail. I've explained to you what will help you to be the amazing person when you're working with remote teams. Even with remote or not remote, this is essential. These are basics. These are basics. Let's look at the things which will make you fail. Quick one. The first thing is called a spy. Why spy is a failure? Type in the chat window, please. Being a spy in your team, why is it a failure? Spot on. Spy is a person who will jump into your meetings, listen all the observations, and give you lectures and gyan during the retrospectives, or even passing that information which is not helping the team to get better. You know what, Krishna, I did not see this person online. I tried to chase this person. He did not respond to me. That sometimes doesn't work. Being a spy does not work. Seagull. This is interesting. Why a seagull? Why being a seagull, it's a failure mode. Micromanagement seeks information for the purpose of keeping it to use, flying to get what you want. I've been on a holiday with my partner in on the seashore, and it's an amazing place in Bristol. And when you walk on the seashore, taking there some seagulls. If you got some fish and chips, they will swoop in, and if you got something unintended, they will disappear. When I parked my car and when I tried to pick it up, it was like something like a white paint all over it, all over it. So seagulls are the people who come in, swoop in whatever credit which is due for the team, and they will shit everywhere when things don't go wrong, go right. So don't be a seagull. When you see things, something which is not right, don't do it. Just have an open conversation. This is what I saw. This is how I felt. What are your thoughts on it? And some people, they get on the soapbox and they lecture on what is the right way to do it, what's the wrong way to do it. Being an admin, some people saying that let me help my team to become the most amazing people, doing just the admin work and being a bridge between the management and the team, they will take that credit away from you. The hub, this is interesting, is the hub of all the information. They want to store centrally. They want to make sure this is what we want to do, this is what we can deliver. Butterfly, this is interesting. What's your thoughts on butterfly? Why you shouldn't be a butterfly when you're working with your teams, in remote teams? Use the chat and try it. Why you can't be a butterfly? Can't be too delicate, distraction. Butterflies, they move from one flower to the other, one tree to the other. They look pretty. They will be going one place to the other. When you're working with remote teams, sometimes some of us work with multiple teams. You just need to be there, be present for your team, not just like, hey, dude, how are you? Amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just came down for your stand up. Yes, I'm working with you. You just can't be fluttering from one tree to the other, just being present for the team. You can be a subject matter expert. This is my way, and I'm telling you, get this done. There are so many challenges which is happening out there. The reality is you need to adapt. What got you from in the past to where you are right now will not get you from where you are right now into the future. You need to adapt. And finally, the nag. Why a nag? Type it in your chat window, please. Why you can't be a nag when you're working with remote teams? Ah, Donna, you're stealing the thunder in this room right now. Thank you very much. It's things are going wrong. Things are interesting. What is interesting for you might be disrespectful for the other things. So you need to understand what is in it for them. It's not about you. Nag is a person. It's all about me. This is my knowledge. This is the way it goes. I tell you, you do it. This is what agile is. This is what not agile is. If you're working from remote teams, this is the way we do it. Nah, listen to people. Listen to the people in front of them. It's not about telling them what step they need to take, what step they can't take. It's just being present. These are some of the failure modes out there. There are few more. I have a question for you. You don't need to answer to me in your own personal windows. If you identified any of these personalities with you or the people you work with, what is that one action you can take for yourself? Nothing to do in the chat window for you. This is all about you. I'm feeling very generous right now. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. Make one quick note for yourself. What is the one action you're going to do when you see these kind of personalities operating in your teams? Or if you feel yourself, I am that person, I am that guy, I'm that lady, what is the recommendation you have for yourself? Okay. So there are some success modes. Okay, we have some failure modes. There are some success modes. The most important thing when you're working with teams is called asking powerful questions. I have a document which I will share it on my LinkedIn. So what I want you to do is I will ask one of my colleagues to put it in the chat window, the Leadership Tribe LinkedIn page. There's a document which you can download for free, and there's a called Powerful Questions, which I borrowed from Coactive Coaching. It's amazing document. It's 2 pages. Learn how to use powerful questions. Powerful questions is it's not giving them. Um, these are open-ended questions. When you ask me 5 plus 5, what can an answer be? 5 plus 5 equals 10. We all know that. But if I give you an option where question mark plus question mark equals 10, the permutations will improve. The permutations will improve. So asking powerful questions, open-ended questions to allow people to talk about their challenges, what is helping them, what is not working them, it's very important. And you need to have that kind of a curiosity. How many of you seen the curiosity of a 4-year-old, 5-year-old kid? Are they shameless in asking questions? How many of you experience being with a kid, their curiosity? It's amazing, isn't it? How curious they are. Why is the sky blue? Why do we see a moon in the night? Why can't I see it in the morning? The curiosity is unimaginable. That's the curiosity you need to have if you want to work with your teams, either face to face or remote. And the environmental listening is not only listening to what they are saying, it's listening to what they are not saying, their emotions, the body language. You need to be empathetic, listening with your heart, listening with your heart. I have a very amazing talk last week about listening with your heart. I can share that on a LinkedIn group as well. It's already there. Download that, about communication skills. And think of it. It's when you're working with your teams, it starts from you. And when you're with your people, when you're working with your teams in front of you, it's all about them. And the most important thing, it starts from you. Because as a team member, you need to, when you're working face to face, some team members, they can't open up. And when you're doing remote, it's even harder. That's fact. Because sometimes people are not ready to open up their webcams because something is happening in the background. Sometimes you don't listen to the emotions in the way you talk. So you need to be more attentive. Look at the physiology itself. God has given you 2 ears, one mouth. You need to listen twice. and talk less. Give an opportunity to the people to be them. And for that, you need to be curious. For that, you need to be curious. And the best way you're going to help yourself is being mindful. I can't remember who has said that in the chat window. Let me pick on Donna there. It's about the mental health. Sometimes when we are going through some changes, when you know some things are not right, be authentic to yourself and tell yourself it's okay. It's okay. And try to pair up. How many of you seen Olympics in your lifetime? In the chat window. Olympics in your lifetime. I know the next Olympics is going to happen in Tokyo, but how many of you seen an Olympics? Type in the chat window. Yes or no should be fine. So some of us have seen Olympics on TV or even face to face. That's okay. And these Olympians, do they have coaches or mentors? Do these people have coaches or mentors? Help them to become successful? Do they have coaches? So, if you want to win the Olympics of your business or how to get better as a human being, get yourself a coach, get yourself a mentor, and ask yourself, am I being curious in everything I'm doing? So this is all about you, self-care. If you want to work with remote teams miles away or in front of you, it's about you invest in yourself. Take the extra minute. Take the extra minute on a day, go out for a walk. It's nothing wrong to take a puppy. If you don't have a puppy, get a dog. If you don't have a dog, it's okay. Go for a walk. Look after yourself. Look after yourself. If you're able to look after yourself, you'll be able to look after other people in front of you. How many of you been on an airplane where you've seen an air hostess tell you, in case of emergency, put your mask on yourself first before you can put on somebody else. Then you put on. So this is in case of emergency. Put your This is emergency. We are in a very interesting world. We're living in a volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous environment. Put on your mask first before you want to help your teams or help them to become successful. It's about you again. So this brings me back to questions. So let me stop sharing. So this is a very high level view on working with remote teams. But the question I have is about you. So what is that one takeaway or questions you have for yourself when you're working with remote teams? Let me bring it back to you. So in the chat window, type your answers, please. The best agile coaches do have coaches of their own. Spot on, Donna. So what's so best for them? What is best for them here now? Okay, thank you. How do we give the introverts more voice in an environment when remote working may favor the extroverts? Spot on, Donna. What else? It's about being intensely curious and working with teams to get them to be the best selves. Happy to hear any great ideas for adding fun to the workplace too. Fantastic. All right, we're going to hear some ideas to make it fun. So I'm open for questions. Let me see if I can open this where I can unmute you all and see if we can have everyone where you can ask me questions openly. So this is my 5 minutes. I'll open questions. I don't know who MP is. More fun games, game resources, or the LinkedIn URL which we've given you. There's a document about more than 30 fun games when you can have when you're facilitating meetings. You can download that. There are a set of instructions and what you can do. What is the outcome? Uh, Minakshi, thank you, Minakshi. So take advantage of it. Download all the games what we have provided because I use them in my day-to-day work. I use them with my clients as well. It's been very rewarding. Review it, experiment it. If you think you have already done it, teach me more. I'll be more than happy to learn from you. Questions time. Good. It looks like everyone is amazed and they don't have any questions. So I have some questions for you. So right now, when your teams, we are working in COVID, some of us have to let go teams, some of us are working in some very challenging situations. What is that one thing you can do for yourself to help your teams to get better or awesome in the work they are doing? What is that one thing you are going to do or you are already doing? Type it in the chat window, please. Stay healthy, stay focused, stay safe. Okay, communicating with each other, enabling more channels of communication with everyone. Make Zoom an environment where folks feel trusted and confident to show themselves. I think there's must be a culture. I can't agree more. All right. Managing curiosity, thinking, acting with the end in mind, which also means being very prepared. What else? Okay. If you want to be awesome in everything you're doing, I have a recommendation. Recommendation is invest in yourself. Take time out where you can, it's about self-care, where putting your emotions, your thoughts, yourself about your health on the priority and giving more time to it. Invest in yourself. I know some of you are investing in a puppy or getting a puppy. Heard somebody saying that they're getting a puppy for themselves. Having a puppy is great, but going out for a walk, spending a little bit time where you switch off your mobile phones and having a great time with the family, it's even better. And I've known some teams, when you're working remotely, they even have group cooking sessions. Some teams, they have group cooking sessions. So these are some teams are doing experiments to help them to get better in what they are doing. Again, it comes back to you. If you can put on your oxygen mask first, you'll be able to do amazing things, wonderful things for the teams or the people you're supporting them. Remember, for everything you do, when you're working with your remote teams, you need to have skills. Those skills can be simple, as simple as a facilitator, simple as being a coach, listening to them, giving them ear, being empathetic. helping them to achieve what's important for them. And sometimes using being a subject matter experts, helping them to achieve their goals, what matters to them. So on that note, I'm going to give you an acronym and I want you to start practicing something with your teams or any activity you do. It's a simple facilitation technique which I use. It's an acronym called POWER. Let me type it for you. P stands for purpose. This is simple. Why do you need to have purpose as a team, as an individual? How many of you are a parent in this room? As a parent, you have a responsibility, you have a purpose of doing something for your child. Okay, we have teenagers. I thinking about me being a teenager was a pain in my dad's ass. Sorry, cut that off. Don't tell my dad about it. I was a pain. It's amazing you go through that journey. As a parent, as an individual, as a team member, remember, why do you exist? As a team, why do you exist as a team? That's called a purpose. O stands for the outcomes or the outputs you're going to deliver as a team. So when you're working together, we work to deliver a goal because we have a purpose. As a human being, we have goals in our lives, we have dreams. So you achieve a goal. Once you achieve a goal, you carry on, you carry on, you carry on. The journey remains constant. The goals change. The journey remains constant. And for your journey, the goals need to be aggressive, progressive, and see what you can do to help them move forward. And the next one, W, is called what is in it for me? With them, what is in it for me? What is in it for my team members? From their perspective, when you're working with them remotely, how can I be at their service to make them successful? What is in it for them? That's W. E stands for the engagement strategy. How are you going to engage? What tools are you going to use? How are you going to create the breakout rooms? How are you going to help them to get that concepts to them? How are you going to help them to facilitate in such a way that we can deliver those outcomes? And R stands for your roles and responsibilities. So this is about you. Sorry, I did not type the word responsibility completely. So what is your role and responsibility at that moment of time? Power is a great acronym which I use, which I borrowed from a book I can't remember right now. The most important thing is how are you going to use it for yourself? So take 30 seconds and make some quick notes. What are your takeaways for yourself in this session? We've been spending 52 minutes together. Make a note for yourself. You don't need to share it with anybody. If anybody is happy to share it, that's also okay. Type it in the, if people are okay to share, type it in the chat window. What are your takeaways? So what are your takeaways from this session? Okay. So this is one give something what my personal comment. So this is what I want to give away to you. So as an individual, you have a choice. You can be a trainer where you tell people what you need to be doing, where you're directing, guiding them as a trainer or an enforcer. I tell you, you get the shit done. You can be that person. Or you can be a mentor or a coach, helping them, advising them, guiding them, asking powerful questions to help them get their own solutions. Or you can play a role of a facilitator, bringing the worlds together for the common good and helping them to see how you can deliver that outcomes. And when you are creating this high performance teams, you need to be a witness. You need to get the hell out. Let them do the magic. So it's all about you. You have a choice. You have a choice. So we spoke about our actions. So what are your actions? So if you think about the power statement, power is about the purpose. Why do you exist? Why does a team exist? What are the outputs? O stands for the outputs. What are you going to deliver? What is the team going to deliver? In your daily stand-ups, when you're working remotely, you need to understand what is the outcomes you need to deliver. W stands for as a facilitator, as a leader, what is in it for me? What is in it for me? Being the selfish person. Everybody does things for their own selfish reasons. We don't do things because uh, this company X, I was born for this company X. I'm making things happen. Nah, it makes you feel good about what you're doing. So, how many of you believe that everyone does things for their own selfish reasons? Type in your answers in the chat window. Yes or no? Simple one. Very true. Everyone does for their own selfish reasons. But the most important thing is, what are your actions? This is your takeaway. You don't need to share it. And if you can make a change, a small, tiny change, even if it's 1 degree, over a period of time, it's going to be massive. That's what it's all about. So, what I want to tell you is take some time and work with your teams and see what works for them and how you're going to help them.